You're watching the Game Changer 17 TV.
Hello, and thank you for joining this platform. So, today I want to talk about a topic many people avoid, but one that is extremely important in your life: the Risikolebensversicherung, also known as term life insurance. That is what I'm going to talk about today in this video. This message is especially for you, my African brothers and sisters living here in Germany. Normally, as we all know, people who are working hard and building families and creating future here in Germany need a life insurance for their family as well as their children. The thing is, this is not about fear, but it's about responsibility, protection, and dignity. Some of you may hear life insurance and you may ask yourself, what is it all about? Well, Risikolebensversicherung is a life insurance that only pays out if the insured person dies during the contract period, which therefore means outside the contract period, this one is not applied. If the person survives the term, there is no payout. There is no savings or investment part. That is what you should know. And that is exactly why it is a simple Versicherung, very transparent, and as well as very, very, very affordable. It covers one thing only: financial protections for your family, should in case something happen to you. That's to say, you passed on. Why is it important? You may ask me. Many of us came to Germany to build a better life. Not only for ourselves, but for our partners, our children, and sometimes even some of our families back home. That means if something happens to you during this contract period, the question is, will your family be protected financially? The question is yes. But let's look at the help that comes with it. It replaces lost income. It pays rent or mortgages. It covers daily living costs as well as supports children's education. That is some of the importance of this life insurance. This is about protecting your legacy and not just earning money. That is one thing you ought to know. It's very important you know this. But now, who should consider it? You may ask me, who should consider it? Well, the Risikolebensversicherung is especially important for parents with children, like some of us, married couples or long-term partners, also very important, people paying rent and mortgages, very, very important, as well as self-employed individuals. In fact, anyone sending financial support to a family also needs this particular insurance. If someone also depends on your income, this insurance is what you should consider that it matters. I'm going to give you now two examples of these life insurance providers here in Germany, and as well as some of their costs. In the first example, I would like to mention something about the Allianz. You know, if you're living in Germany, you hear about the Allianz. Well, one thing I want to reiterate is that these examples are not for advertisement purposes. They are just examples for this video. The Allianz is first example is the Allianz, which is one of the largest and most trusted insurance companies here in Germany. That is what you have to consider as well. Examples of scenario include persons of age about 30 to 35 years old who are non-smokers, and the coverage could be up to about 200,000 euros with a contract of about 20 years. Estimated monthly costs should be around 5 to 8 euros per month, which is absolutely too small. And the minimum contract length is usually 10 years or more. But what are some of its advantages that it comes with? It is very strong financial stability, clear contracts, reliable payout, and trusted name in Germany. This shows that serious protection does not mean high costs. Serious protection does not mean high cost. That is what should even make you consider taking Allianz. Example number 2, the Versicherung is another major insurance provider in Germany. We all have heard about Ego. Example of scenarios, like for example, it involves persons from 25 to about 30 years of age who are also non-smokers, and then the coverage may cost up to 150,000 euros with a term of about 20 years or more. Estimated monthly payment is around 3 to 6 euros per month, which is also affordable, and the minimum contract term length is often 10 years or more. The advantage of the Ego is that it's competitive with respect to pricing, easy online application, as well as flexible coverage options. Again, this shows that even a few euros per month can protect a family, which is something I think you and we should consider. Important message from my African brothers and sisters here in Germany. Please, if you are an African living in Germany, this message is for you. Many people in Germany think insurance is too expensive, too complicated, or not for us. Of course, it is not expensive, it's not complicated, and it is for us. This thought is not true. It is for us. In Germany, Risikolebensversicherung is one of the cheapest and most important protections you can ever have. When you look at the prices of coffee, snacks, or a mobile, when you want to compare the price of coffee, a snack, or a mobile data, you can make sure with a life insurance, you can make sure that your family is not left struggling when you depart this world. And one thing that you ought to know is that it is not about status, whether you're married or you are not married, but it is about responsibility and the love you have for those that matters most to you. Some of you may now ask me, how long should the insurance last? Of course, this is a point where I would like us to really talk. The contract should cover the life, to cover the time when the family needs you most, now, or until the children are independent, now, until major debts are being paid, now, until financial stability is secured, now. And the most common duration normally is 20 years, 25 years, or 30 years. Although there are also short-term contracts. But short-term contracts often bring problems. That is what you should avoid. And the common mistakes people should avoid is choosing the cheapest offer without enough coverage, giving incorrect health information, choosing a term that is too short, not informing your partner about the policy. These are some of the mistakes that people normally make, which is what you and we should avoid. Mistakes can make the insurance useless when it is needed most. That is what you ought to know. Before I conclude with this, I want to ask you this question. What do you think about the Risikolebensversicherung, life insurance? One thing you should know is that it's not only about death. It is about protection, responsibility, and planning. To you, my African brothers and sisters, if people depend on you, this is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make in Germany. It is very important. To you, my African brothers and sisters, this is one of the most smartest decisions that you can ever make in Germany. And I want to thank you for watching this video. But before I go, I would just want to inform you that this video will be on my platform, on my YouTube platform, the Game Changer Eke, or the Game Changer 17 TV, as well as on my Facebook and Instagram channel or pages, Game Changer Eke, Game Changer Backup, as well as Game Changer Eke on Instagram. On TikTok, you can see there under the Game Changer 17 TV. So, thank you so much for your time. And please, make a choice. Make this Risikolebensversicherung be part of your choices of insurance while you live in Germany. The time that you are fit, that you're working so hard, do not betray your family. Always put them in your mind. Protect your family. Protect your loved ones. As I said already before, it's not about death. It's about protection, dignity, and responsibility. Thank you for watching, and please do not hesitate. Share the videos. Let it get to someone out there who is going to benefit out of it. And see you in my next video. You take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome to my where vibe no they die, I love the flow. Every beat where you hear I go. I they shake the ground, I they take control.